This is Hemach Yehuda Richter. I'm showing you a picture of Shaarei Chesed Shul that Rabbi Yesai Levine was rabbi of. Was another rabbi, Rabbi George Sector. And those two rabbis I knew when I was at the time living with my parents, not so far from there. And I davened there many times. And this is where I had an extensive chance to speak to Rav S.I. Levine about many shalos that I had. And it was very, very comforting to know that there was a Rav in St. Louis Park that was very well versed in all different aspects of the Torah, in the Talmud, as well as Rabbi Sector, but I intended to go to Rabbi Levine. And at the particular time that I was asking him questions, I was in the shul. I was davening at a time when the older men were there. Not many young people were there at all. And so therefore, this was a shul that had transferred from the northern part of North Minneapolis, and was the minions were basically older people, and I was perhaps the youngest one there, and perhaps the only major customer of Rabbi Levine when I went to ask him questions. And Shilas, and he never left me without an answer. It was very, very informative when I had to speak to him. One of the founding members of that shul was Jacob Liss. He was the uncle of my mom, and he had established or had put a plaque in commemoration of his family in the building when they built the building. As you see, the building was built in 1965. I mentioned in the last video that our family history goes back to the area that the 6th Chabad Rebbe and of course the 7th Chabad Rebbe, the most recent Rebbe, were born in and lived in before they had to leave because of Nazi persecution. Well, the Liss family on my mother's side also was very lucky because they left long before that. I believe the last family to have left from the Liss family was in 1923. I also want to give credit to Reed Simmons, who was the creator of this fantastic family tree. And I had an opportunity only to meet Reed and his family once we made Aliyah to Israel. And that's a story in itself, which hopefully I'll be able to tell quite soon. But in the meantime, I want to show you a picture of the town of Kletsk. Kletsk was a town in the Polish border. It was in Poland at the time. Today it's located in Belarus, and it was located not too far from the town of Minsk. So after doing extensive research, I realized that town of Kletsk was a very significant town with regard to its Jewish population, because there was a very large Jewish population, and there was a major yeshiva there. That yeshiva housed many gedolim, many great rabbis who studied there. One of the Rosh Yeshivas to have led that, to be in that yeshiva, was named Rav Aaron Kotler. So when the Jews had to flee because of the Nazi persecution that was coming, it was also very interesting that Rav Kotler was able also to get out, and he established the yeshiva that everybody knows today that's in Lakewood, New Jersey. So I come from a very interesting family that has a background that started in Kletsk with a yeshiva that had many Gadolim learning there, Rav Kotler being one of the prominent ones. But I myself was part of a conservative community, went to a conservative shul, and eventually ended up learning and studying with Chabad in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, New York. But that's not the end of my story with regard to St. Louis Park, because when I was living there, I definitely had to look for other places to go and daven, because I did not want to stay in the shul with only an older group of men. I wanted to look for a shul that had a proper mechitza division, and I wanted to look for a shul that was Shomer Shabbos, was going to give me an opportunity to see how I could advance my Yiddishkeit, not only with Rabbi Levine, but with other younger people as well. And that brought me to the other side of St. Louis Park, which I will discuss in upcoming videos. Call 2.